Thank you, Rajni ma'am. Thank you, Subhashan sir, and thank you all organizing committee members. Thank you for this opportunity to present a gist of learning on this 21-day online winter school on analytical techniques for decision making in agriculture. So here we are going to present what we have learned so far. It's just a gist. So contribution from all the members over here. So the first thing first is contents. What we have is, so we are going to deal with all the packages, what we have learned so far. The first thing is on discriminant analysis using R package. So here are the members who have contributed. And then we're also going to deal with exploratory data analysis using R. And here are the group members. And then limited dependent variable regression, logit, probit, and then also multinomial logistic regression. And here are the group members. And then linear programming.
1 minute, Dr. Swaminathan.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
The thing is, for your group, like half an hour, within half an hour, I hope you will be able to present for the entire group.
More than sufficient, ma'am. Half an hour is more than sufficient.
Okay.
I'll not take more than
that.
Please
carry on.
Okay. And then we have also done ARIMA modeling using R. We also thought of doing this one, market integration and price forecasting, which we have not done. Apart from that, DID is also not done, which because so far it has not been covered. So whatever we have learned out of this training program, and also orientation that we have been given using various econometric as well as statistical software packages like R, Stata, and SPSS, whatever. So whatever we have been exposed with, we thought of sharing with you, right, as gist of whatever we have learned, using some hypothetical data, sometimes real data. So let us proceed with whatever we have learned. I'll present before you. The first thing is on optimization as well as linear programming using MS Excel Solver. Even though we have got statistical packages, there are many for this linear programming. We had our resource person, introducing us with MS Excel. So we thought of using the same thing, but using hypothetical data set. So this is a problem. So this problem, is again hypothetical, where we can see a farmer having 200 hectares of land, and then he has got constraints, obviously. And now his objective is that he has to maximize profits. So if he has to maximize profits, given that he has got constraints regarding labor, regarding NPK requirement, as well as regarding the plant production chemical cost, then how we can, maximize profits. That was the thing. Okay. So here we have given it in a form of a, mathematical specification where Z or Z is the function for maximizing net income. So here we have 35,000 rupees that is coming from crop one. The crop one for us is cumin, and 30,000 rupees per hectare from wheat, and then 32,000 per hectare from maize. Okay, this is the objective function, and these are the constraints. Constraint land, it cannot exceed 200 hectares. NPK, it cannot exceed 35,000 kgs. Labor constraint we have because a farmer can have maximum only 15,000 man days. And then already we have plant production chemicals constraint that the farmer can spend only 2 lakh rupees. That's it. And here the crop production summary. So whatever is given in this specification, we are presenting in this format so that we can include in Excel directly. So here we have again cumin, wheat, and maize, 3 crops, and this is the availability budget that is there with the farmer or farmers, whatever we have, because we can do linear programming for a single farmer as well as we can take primary data and can do for farmers in a particular locality or region, as we know. And these are all the necessary and sufficient conditions which we have to keep in mind while constructing this linear programming. First, there must be limited resources. Yes, we have. And then explicit objective. Yes, objective is explicit, stressed. And here it is. We have to maximize profits. Not like that. We have to improve standard of living or we have to improve quality of life. No such assumptions. We just are explicit in that. And there is linearity. Here we have, if you are increasing independent variable, then it is going to contribute to dependent variable. Linearity, then homogeneity, additivity, non-negativity, and divisibility. So we have fulfilled all these assumptions. So let us straight away go to the MS Excel. And so this is, I have given in step 1, we have given in step 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 steps over here, as you can see here. So if the entire, the farmer has got, for example, 200 hectares of land. So if the farmer is, cultivating only cumin crop in all the 200 hectares, he is going to get 7 lakh rupees. Okay. So 70 lakh rupees, that is what he is going to get. But this is not possible at all. Why? Because here NPK maximum he can use is only 32,000 kgs. But here for getting this much amount of income, he has to go for 36,000 kgs, which is not possible. So that is why we have to go for linear programming. And how to do it here? First thing is we have to focus on, the target cell, objective cell. So the maximizing net income is objective. And then we have to change cells. So all these are changing cells. So this is a C, D, E, and here we have C, and then here this is row 19, this is row 20. So these cells are to be changed so that we'll be knowing how much acreage has to go to cumin or wheat or maize so that the farmer can maximize net income, right? And then see here sum product. This is what we are going to use. Sum product of C19 to E19. So this is your C, right? So C19 to E19, C, D, E column, and then this is row. And then C20 to E20, right? So this is C19, 18, and this one is C20, E20, and this is the one we have to maximize it. And again, what we're doing is keeping the constraints in mind, then we're introducing LHS and RHS. So here we have the sum product of C23 to E23, right? So that should be equal to this one, C20 to E20, okay? So keeping that in mind, using this sum product formulation, we are then proceeding with solver. In MS Excel, we have to add in the solver package. Apart from data analysis package, which we are regularly using, we have to go for this solver package for optimization. So once we have that, here you see, we have to set objective. That is, which is your cell. So this one is the function, right? We have to maximize. We have clicked maximize. So maximize net profit, C21. So this is E and 21. And then by changing cells, so we have to change cells, right? So these cells have to be changed. So by changing the cells which refer to acreage, because we have to allocate to crop, right? And then we have to maximize the net income. Constraints, what are the constraints over here? See here. Then C20 to E20 is more than equal to 0. And then here, the limitation we have, RHS. Beyond this limit, we cannot go. So this side should be equal to or less than this side. So this is what given over here. And then we are using simplex linear programming, and then we are solving it. And here, what we have is, after solving it, we'll be getting this, because in the previous slide, you see, when we have constructed, here we have 0. Again, in terms of crop allocation, again, we had 0. So now it has changed. Now we have realized maximum net income. And again, see crop allocation. So X1, the farmer has to allocate 150 hectare, and to X3, the farmer has to allocate 50 hectares, nothing to X2. So in this manner, the farmer will be able to maximize net income. So you see, for realizing maximum net income of 68,50,000 rupees, that is optimal profit, the farmer need to allocate 150 hectare under cumin and 50 hectare under maize. The farmer should not go for wheat. So this is what this problem is suggesting. And we can go for more complex problems, like Premchand sir told us to go for goal programming also in future. Then next thing is on exploratory data analysis and data visualization using R. So we used R, not only conduct analysis, but also to visualize data. So the first step in doing R is, when we don't have R, we have to download R. This is a link for us to download R, and we can choose whichever suits our system. After downloading R, we have to go for R Studio, because R Studio is convenient for us to work, but this cannot work without downloading this. So first, this has to be installed and then go for R Studio. Once we have it, and then we can conduct exploratory data analysis or EDA or data visualization. Why we have to do? Because we have to summarize main characteristics or indicators with or without visualize. So in R, we have got 4 windows. This is one window where we can enter command. This is R script. And then there will be another window where we can import or export data. And then will be another window where we can see the functions working. And then last window for us to install packages. So this is syntax window where we can type our command and we can save it for eternity. We can share the file also. So here we have to title whatever the title of the file is. And then we can type commands over here in syntax window. So you see we have typed, so iris. So iris or iris. So this file is actually present in the R package itself. So we are just calling in from the package. This is not R file. This is already present, like in Stata, right? If you want to, Stata has got so many inbuilt files. When you're downloading Stata, we can use those files like example files and all. So we are using sysuse command in Stata. When you're doing sysuse, asking system to use what is already in. So like that, here we have iris file, and thing is that we don't want this name. We want our own name. So this is our own name, DAT, our own name. This name is assigned to iris file, which is already over here. And once we are doing this and then we are executing it, here we see the second window, environment window, where we can see. So this file has been renamed. It has got 150 observations and 5 variables. And then step 2, again, here we have typed syntax, summary dat. We are going to see summary statistics, right? So we can see, you see all the observations are there, and then we can see median, mean, and then first quartile, second, everything is here. You can see all these data are continuous, but this one is qualitative variable, right? Because we have got species, Setosa, versicolor, virginica, there are 3 species. Now this can be used as grouping variable because it's qualitative. So we can also do summary statistics by grouping. So when you're doing grouping, again, we can do. So whatever command we are typing over here, everything we can save it, and we can, save it in some part of our system for eternity. And then if you want to go for more descriptive statistics, then it is not possible without installing packages. If you are new to R, we have to install package first. So installation package is very easy because apart from that syntax window and then import or export data window, we also have on the bottom right installation window from where we can install packages. We don't know what packages are, right? Because when we are not familiar, all these things we can obtain from experts. We can read some papers, we can Google search, do Google search, and we can obtain this package and all. What package? Because there are so many packages for a single purpose. Our purpose is what? Summary statistics. And then here, so after installing packages, which we can do by command or minute-driven mode, then we have to load the package because installation is a one-time process and loading us for our own use. It's a, every time when you're using the package, you have to load it. So install packages, install, and then library, you're loading it. So you're bringing the package to the work file in which you are working. And then you see stat, this is the command we are type. This is the data file name and stat description. So we're getting all these things. You see, apart from mean, median, mode, we're also getting range. We are getting standard deviation, coefficient of variation, all these things are getting. So we are getting extra, apart from whatever we have done in measures of central tendency, we're also getting all these things. And then data visualization. So if you want to see distribution of quantitative variable, if you have any quantitative variable like sepal length, you want to see how it is distributed, the data points. So we can go for histogram analysis. The command is hist data. This is the data file, right? And then in that data file, we are using this dollar symbol to say that from that data file, pick this particular variable, which is quantitative in nature, and do histogram analysis. So histogram is done. So this, from which we can understand whether there is any normal distribution or not. Here we can say there is no bell-shaped curve, so there is no normality at all. So it is a kind of informal technique. And then we can go for box plot, which is the bulk of all DEA techniques. So when you want to compare between groups, here we have 3 groups, right? So when we want to compare, this is the best thing we can use. See, box plot, simple command, and data file, then use dollar symbol and that variable name, and then what you want to do. Okay, this is the grouping variable. So this is how we are getting. This is a very beautiful thing. If you have some research or a manuscript in which we want to compare, quantitative variables of small farmers, marginal farmers, and medium farmers, then we can use this box plot and then we can compare it. It is really good. We can take any characters like age, experience, income, or even whatever that is quantitative in nature. And then we can go for scatter plot. If you want to visualize potential correlation, we can get correlation R coefficient, right? If you want to view it, graphically, then we can go for scatter plot. Here we have taken 2 variables, right? Sepal length and sepal petal length. And this is the data file from which we get extract. So data file dollar from which extract this. So you see here, we are given it. And you can see here, there are some points in which there is superimposement happening. There is some binding. We can see there is some correlation possibility. Right. And then we have to go for a line plot data. If you have time series data, if you want to draw, to see whether there is stationarity, what is the trend and all, now we can go for this simple plot. And then we have type L. This is L. We're not typing L over here. We are doing command that you go for line plot. And then there is another interesting for normality checking. You can go for QQ plot. Okay. There you can see here how the observations are distributed. This is the reference line. And you see how these are distributed, right? There is no normal distribution at all. It is similar to this histogram, right? There is also no normal distribution. And again, using this QQ plot, we are verifying it. But again, this is informal technique. We have to go for normal, a formal test. Like we can go for Jark-Berra test, or we can go for Kendall test, Shapiro-Wilk test, and all we can go for it. Then coming to your limited dependent variable regression, where we have been introduced to Logit, Probit, and MNL. There is multinomial Logit regression. So these are the members who have contributed to this technique. And this is the data for hypothetical data, where you can see this willingness to adopt is data which has got dichotomous observations, right? Dichotomous variable, limited like 0 and 1. 0 for willingness, not willingness 0, willingness 1. So it is dichotomous in nature. And these are the commands which we can use. If you are going with these commands, we can get an output like this. But since this data is hypothetical, we are not getting significant results. You see the coefficients are so low, minus 7.578 divided by 1 followed by 6 zeros. So we won't be able to interpret it at all, right? If this is the coefficient, if you're going for marginal effects, still we'll be getting lower values. Okay. So similar to logit, we can also go for probit also. You see the command given over here with which we can easily work out. Now you see this one is just like regression, but the independent variables are same. We focus on dependent variable. Dependent variable happens to be pi divided by 1 minus pi. So this is the odds ratio. And then log of odds ratio is a dependent variable, right? So for every 1 unit change in this independent variable, what is the subsequent change in the log of odds ratio? That is what we're going to understand by this logit regression. So again, this is a proven data set taken from Damodar Gujrati's econometrics book. And here we are seeing robust coefficients, right? With this, we can easily interpret now. And you see, for example, PSI. So 2.37. So PSI is a variable denoting personal attention to students. And here we have different variable grade, whether the candidate has got higher grade, lower grade. So when personal attention is given, whether the student is going to get higher grade or not. So here what we have is, it is significant, as you can see, less than 0.05. Okay, so 2.37 is the coefficient. So when the PSI, personal attention coefficient, is increased by 1 unit, then the log of odds ratio towards higher grade increases by 2.37 units. So odds ratio, like this coefficient again is not giving us, right, because it is giving only log of odds ratio. But we have to find odds ratio, that is event happening, ratio of event happening to not happening, right? So in that, if you're going for odds ratio, just take anti-log of the coefficient. Whatever coefficients we are to interpret, take anti-log. And here we have getting anti-log of the coefficient of PSI is 10.78. So this is odds ratio. And now it is easy for us to interpret. Now we're using odds ratio. For every 1 unit increase in PSI, the odds ratio of students towards higher grade increases by 10.78. And then we can also interpret probability. That is odds of that particular coefficient minus 1 into 100. This will give in terms of probability. So 10.78 minus 1 is 9.78. So 978. So if we are giving personal attention to student, then the probability of him or her getting higher marks increases by 978%. That's the probability increase. Similarly, we can go for probit also. In probit, we can get this probability directly. So we can say for every 1 unit increase in PSI, then in terms of probit, we can say the probability increases by 0.01 into 100. So 1.65%. So like this, we can interpret. And then see whether we are going with R and all. Now there are so many commands, but let us go with limited commands. For that, let us go stata. Stata, you see in logit, there are no many commands. Now simply go for logit and then introduce different variable and then independent variables. Similarly, for if you want to do multinomial logit, simply install stata and then you type mlogit, stands for multinomial logic, where we have got more than 2 categories in different variable. Then you have to go for a group. This group is a different variable and then your independent variables. So here, if it is foreign, so 0 means yes, it is foreign. 1 means no, it is not foreign, right? And then here group means we have got more than 2 categories, 1, 2, 3, right? And then when we are doing it, here we are getting coefficients. And then if you want to get marginal effects, you see, simply we have to type mfx in stata command. We are also getting marginal effects. Okay, so you see, this is the coefficient giving us the direction. And if you want to interpret for 1 unit change in price, what is the change in this log of odds ratio, then let us go for marginal effects, or we can go for odds ratio probability as explained. And here in terms of multinomial logic, where we have more than 2 groups. So here we have one base group, which is to be compared over group 1, group 2, group 3. The performance of all these groups over this base group has to be compared. In this way, we can easily deal with. And here in terms of stata, why it is user-friendly is because we simply copy and paste Excel data into stata's this descriptive data editor window, right? And then we can interpret in terms of coefficients, marginal effects, odds ratio, probability, just like that. So stata is somewhat very simple in dealing with commands also. And then ARIMA modeling using R. So this is the importing. So when we are dealing with accelerated data analysis, EDA, so we use the data which is already in system. Suppose if you have our own data. So if you want to introduce our own data into system, so we can go for the other window, that is where we can import data. So from my desktop, the data file is named Wheat Exports India. I want to import it. So just browse and import. Once you have done it, this is the command. If you don't want to go with command, just go for menu-driven option. You have it. And here, this is the environment window where we can given the characteristics of the variables like time, year, export volume, right? This is ARIMA, right? So we have export volume over time period, right? The thing is that Wheat Exports India is okay when I have it in my system because I can easily remember. But when I'm using it in this R software, now again, if I'm typing Wheat exports India, it is somewhat ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is simply naming it as wheat. So wheat is assigned to wheat exports India. So now I'm renaming the file to wheat. And then I'm viewing wheat, I'm doing summary studies of wheat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also plotting. When I'm going to plot, you see, this is the file name wheat. From that file, you extract export volume variable and then go for, plot, a linear plot. Okay. So this is what it is given. You can see here, there is no stationarity, right? We can guess, but this is just, soft guess. We cannot be very sure. So there is no stationarity. Let us take difference of it. When we are taking difference, again, you see wheat difference. Okay. There is another file I'm creating, wheat difference, which is nothing but difference of, go to that wheat file, take that export volume variable and then do difference. And then what I'm doing is, since it is time series data, create a new variable TS data, time series of data, which is TS of the wheat difference, and then do plotting. So time plot, when you have done, you see now it is little bit improvement. Here we can see more or less there is constant variance, and more or less the mean is reverting back to the same position throughout the time period, we can say. But still we are not confident, right? Let us go for formal test, which is ADF is the best test if you want to check for stationarity. Again, we don't have all these packages, right? So for that, we have to install the packages. Like it was said by a resource person, we have to go for ATSA, Urka, VAS, T-Series, Forecast. All these packages we have to install first, and then we have to call in. So this is one-time process. This is every time process. We are calling in. And then how to install it? When we don't know the name at all, right? When you don't want to use these commands, go for installation packages, another window. There we can just type ATSA. So this file is, package is known to us when export has told us, or we can also search Google and we can know the name of this package. Otherwise, we have to go again and do it, but this is good, right? So once we have installed it, now we can do ADF test, simple command ADF test. So go to that wheat file and then check for stationarity of export volume variable. So this is undifferenced. Now no differencing is happening over here. So you see p-value is 0.51. It means what? The alternative hypothesis rejected. So the stationarity is rejected because it has to be less than 0.05, right? And then we are taking difference of it, which is there in TS DAT. This file has got differenced export volume data. And now we see p-value is 0.02, right? So now we are rejecting null hypothesis, and then we are accepting alternate hypothesis. Now there is stationarity. So now we know what D is, because in ARIMA we should know what is PDQ. We know now what D is. Let us go for P and Q. In P and Q, we have to plot it. This is the command ACF plot will tell us what is Q, order of Q. And then we have to go for PACF, again, the simple command. PACF, use this data set, okay, and then maximum lag is 34. That's it. And then we are knowing what is P. So you can see here. So at 1 and 2, this critical limit is crossed at 2. So P is 2, order of P is 2. And here, the critical limit is crossed at 1, 2, 3, right? So this Q is 3. So then when we know what the order is, again, go for ARIMA. So wheat use original data, not TS DAT, right? Because this data is not differenced, because we know what the differencing point is, 1. So when you're using 1 over here, we have to use original data, order is 2, 1, 3. And this is where we are getting our AIC values are lower. But we don't know whether this is correct or not because there are so many models, right? So let us go for so many, ARIMA models. So we have to pick that model where the AIC value is lower. So guided by our ACF and PACF plots, we have tried all these things, and then we are taking this particular model of ARIMA where the A values are lower. And now after ACF plot of residuals, they are looking random because none of the lags are crossing the critical limit. And more or less, this is not normal. Okay, normality is exceptional, okay, but it should be random. Otherwise, you have to repeat it again. This is the formal test, junk box test. Okay, when we are giving this command in R, we can get the results like this. There you can see p-value is 0.4. So 0.4, okay, it means we are accepting null hypothesis. In this case, the residuals are random. Okay, it should not be 0.05, 0. No, it should be 0.4. Okay, so we are rejecting, we are accepting null hypothesis. They are random. And then we can predict future. Here we can predict future. We are predicting 5 points ahead, and this is what we are getting. But here we are making a mistake. We have to go for out of sample forecasting because nobody is going to believe our forecast if we are not showing with the testing and training data. We should keep some data for training, and then we have to test. So within the data which we have obtained, we have to test our forecast. Then only we can do it for future. This is the result. Nobody is going to accept it. So how to do out of sample forecasting? So this is how we have to do out of sample forecasting, in which we can see here our data. See here. So we have data up to 2013, right? So here, this is what we are forecasted, out of sample forecasting. So this is original data, this is predicted data. And if we error is only 2%. So error is only 2%. So when we are forecasting the sample which we have and the error is only 2%, so it means even the future forecast which we are going to do will have minimum error. So this forecasting is reliable. We cannot forecast for 5 years or 10 years, Narima. We can do only for 3 years at the maximum. That too, we need for that 40 years of data. We cannot forecast more. Then last one is linear discriminant analysis. So discrimination is bad, but here in case of analysis, it is good. Otherwise, we won't be able to do group categorization. So we are going to see which variables discriminate. If a farmer is adopting technology, group 1. If he is not following technology, group 0. So which are the variables that discriminate that observation belonging to group 1 or group 0? That is what is linear discriminant analysis. So here, again, we are using R. Okay, and then we are loading data. And then these are all the commands. You see, there are so many commands for us to understand, because if you are typing all the commands and then we are doing this LDA, the commands run into pages. There are some 5 or 6 pages. So there are so many syntaxes. So we have to keep short and simple. Let us go with SPSS output. And here is the output which you have. Again, SPSS, go for that menu-driven option, analyze, classify, and then we have discriminant. And then a window will open, you select means, univariate ANOVAs, Fishers, unstandardized, within groups correlation. And then all these things just select. And then here you have group statistics. Now what we're going to do is, the null hypothesis, there is no group separability. Groups are not separated. But here what we want to find out is whether these variables, if we have here 3 variables now, this G and IPC, let us say per capita income, health expenditure, and birth rate, whether these 3 variables differentiate groups of countries. Country 0 is developed nation, 1 is developing nation. So whether these 3 variables are sufficient for us to describe a country in that group, whether it is developing or developed. And then we have to find out which variables are most contributing in differentiating. And then here we have test of equality of group means. So here we can see Wilks lambda, right? The coefficients are highly significant. It means what? These 3 variables are sufficient for us to categorize groups. Whether we want to categorize the observations into developing nation or developed nation, which is the dependent variable, these 3 variables are sufficient given by the Wilks lambda. And then we can go for this summary of canonical discriminant functions, where the eigenvalue is 3.072. So it means what? Into 100. So 30% of total variance has been unexplained by the group differences. So only 30%. So remaining 70% is explained. This is a good model because we are able to explain 70% of, or 70 proportion, whatever it is, of total variance. 70% of total variance, only 30% goes unexplained. And then we have to go for adequacy of model, like F-test in regression. Here, the chi-square studies will tell us whether this model is adequate or not. So here we can say the model is adequate in categorizing groups. And then we are going to use this. So these 3 are variables. So this is nothing but your partial regression coefficients. For example, if this is your per capita income, if per capita income is increased by 1 unit, then the dependent variable, that is towards developing nation, right, will increase by 0.96 units. And this is structure matrix, which we'll be obtaining later, and then centroids. So now this is actual data. So we'll be having totally 15 observations, where 28 observations are for 0. 0 stands for developed nations. And then 31 observations, they refer to 1. So 1 stands for developing nation. So now we have to see whether we are successful in using these variables to discriminate in the different variable, whether we are able to classify it. Now, when we are seeing over here, we are able to predict exactly out of 28 zeros, we have predicted 27 zeros correctly. So 27 out of 28, we have predicted correctly. The group has been correctly predicted. So 1 observation has gone to 1. So incorrect prediction. Now, in developing nation, that is where we have 31 observations. So in that group, we have predicted all the observations correctly. So in this way, these variables are sufficient to help us in categorize groups. So in this case, if you want to go for any future classification as well, these variables are really good in helping us to categorize groups. So this is what we're able to obtain it from this linear discriminant analysis in group categorization. This is somewhat different from logic model, because in logic model we are focusing on odds ratio, and here we are focusing on categorization, whether the independent variables or predictors are sufficiently capable enough to categorize groups. Okay, whether farmer is adopting or not adopting. Then you want to explain that, whether when these variables are combined, whether they are able to explain correctly that particular observation belonging to group 1 or group 2. So this is what is hot favorite in LDA. So with this, I thank you for the permission as well as the opportunity. I'll thank Subhashan sir, Rajni Jain ma'am, and Drs. Meena, Vikas, Dilip, entire NAB team, and all resource persons for this wonderful training program amid the coronavirus situation we have. I also thank my group members for the support and all the participants for your patient hearing. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. You can share the screen. Thank you very much, Dr. Swaminathan. In fact, it was a wonderful presentation, like clapping from my side. And excellent team effort. If at all it has been prepared with all team members, that is good. Like, is it really that all team members contributed into it?
Yeah, ma'am. You can see a WhatsApp group as well, in which I have taken contribution from all team members, especially in logic, probit, in linear programming and all. Now you can see whatever inputs they have given, everything is there in the WhatsApp group itself. So all have contributed.
Very good. So it is excellent team effort. I just have one clarification.
Sure.
In one place, like you have written, I don't remember, what was it? You have written this command is BAP of all. So what does it mean?
Father of all.
Okay.
Father of all, ma'am. It's a Hindi word, sir. Father of all. Whatever commands we have in EDA, this offload technique is the father of all. It is less utilized, ma'am. It is giving so much information. It is the BAP of all.
Okay. And another thing.
But we're not using it, ma'am, somehow.
Yes. You used, like, you advocated STATA and SPSS for 2 approaches. I do understand they are simpler as compared to R. And of course, it also becomes a matter of, practice and use to the things. Why we do have STATA and SPSS here also, and we could have used that for demonstration also. Only reason for not using them was, one is these have become now traditional ones and everybody almost knows about them, especially the social scientists. But still in remote areas, like sometimes in some universities, the software is not available to the persons. So how do they cope up with that situation? For that purpose, now the emerging software is this R. Like we do have this.
It is also open access. That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Open access, free.
Yeah, free also, open access also. Even in STATA also, if you want to really harness its power, you do have to make use of coding. Two simple toy examples you can do like that, but daily if you have to do analysis and some bigger data sets, then of course you have to go for coding. You have to
coding,
you have to maintain your script file and then do it. Same way, even in R, like you can store your code file and later on with different data set, you change your data file and the same code will be available. So that was the reason. But anyway, you your group members have been creative enough that, okay, they could not use R for this. So they thought of going to...
Ma'am, we also used R, ma'am, but in presenting results, it turns into pages. So we have to present everything in one slide. So we thought of, if you want to present it all, we can go for SPSS. That now, whatever inputs we are getting, we can present one slide. Otherwise, we have to do 10 more additional slides, which won't be doing.
Fine. No, it's fine. But like we wanted to introduce, and of course, our faculty, they have made you, I think, conversant enough with R that how to search for the packages, how to install. One single option is available in multiple packages. That is
even
also,
if you search for in Google, ma'am, we are not getting these packages and all. So
yes,
experts have given us the
exactly.
packages, which is useful for us. Yes, ma'am.
So this is going to be the emerging kind of software which everyone will be using.
Yeah, definitely.
Years back, ISRI introduced SAS in each university, but now like we are just beside the ISRI. Still, we at our institute not able to upgrade to that SAS.
Yeah.
We can continue to use that same license, but now our systems are not supporting the older one.
What is the best thing to happen, ma'am, really?
Yeah, that is going to happen.
More thing is that,
the other.
Ma'am, there are so many statistical packages. We can have our own econometric packages. For example, if you want to do decomposition analysis or hazard decomposition, that is not available in R. So, like statisticians, they come up with their own packages. Like we had one presentation where he had one copyright for his package in R. Maybe we economists in touch with some computer scientists, we can have our own econometric packages like decomposition analysis using this layer method, using hazard decomposition method and all. So we can also copyright for the for econometrics things, because right now R is focusing only on statistics, not econometrics. There are so many less packages.
Yes.
So like that we can have it.
So but yeah, one can build into this and share freely others for use. So
but it requires coding, man. We don't know the coding. That's the difficult part of it.
Yes, it in fact is not that much coding, but bundle of commands like you have to use
to have a package ready
for the same thing. So that is there, but like slowly, maybe not with not one training, multiple trainings, people will get used to it. At least you will understand if somebody is presenting in R, that how it is being done. So thank you very much for coming forward and presenting this. Thank you. And you can share this presentation with your group leader from organizer side. Is it Dr. Dilip? No, Meena ji. Dr. Dinesh and Meena, like you can send your presentation to him. Dr. Swami.
Already done, ma'am. It is available in WhatsApp group itself. Okay. I think Meena sir must open. Now, Meena sir, you have it now? Maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
I already done it now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now, from group 1 or group 2, anyone? Is it ready for from group 1 or group 2?
I'm group 6 ready.
1 or 2 में से कोई ready है? Okay, group 6 में Dr. Ritambra.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my screen is unshared now.
Yes, your screen is unshared.
Then okay.
So group 6 mein, Dr. Ritambra, you are going to present?
Ma'am, Dr. Ujjwala and myself both will take the lead. She is co-leader. So if Dr. Ujjwala is around, then I will request her to kindly share the screen.
Fine.
Dr. Ujjwala?
Dr. Ujjwala? कहीं उसमें तो नहीं है attendees में?
Ma'am, I have group presentation, ma'am. Like on personal presentations, I have message.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That is the issue.
Okay. Dr. Ujjwala, are you going to share?
I will share this artificial intelligence part, ma'am.
Yes, please do.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can anybody share this?
Yeah.
Please share, ma'am. I don't know. It is not coming in my laptop.
Okay, so just
but your screen is already shared. Your screen is shared. You just double click on the file and it will come.
Yeah.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, it is visible.
Very much.
Okay. Sorry for the delay, ma'am. A very good morning to one and all. And we are from the group 6, and it is a combined work from the group 6 members. And our leader is Ritambara ma'am and co-leader myself. So we are going to end our assigned topic.
1 minute. 1 minute. Can I stop you for a minute?
Yes,
like I want all the names. If it is a combined effort, you must have got the names also. I want names.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. We will edit in the. We will edit and we will listen.
You do not have those names available?
Ma'am, we have, ma'am. We have, ma'am.
Okay. So
yes,
I want the names basically who has contributed for this.
Sure.
Because even if they are not in the group right now in the presentation, they will be required to send it directly to their group organizer.
Yeah, ma'am, we have all the names with us and we will include those all names and we will send it to the organizer.
Yes. Okay. Carry on, please.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. We are assigned with the topic of whether AI creates unemployment or not. So our presentation. So our presentation follows introduction, review of literature, methodology, government policy, and conclusion. And we know that the artificial intelligence is something like a machine ability to perform some kind of an activities like human do. And it is introduced in the 1956. And the main thing is like it helps you to reduce the amount of time needed to perform some kind of a specific task when compared to the human ability, and also improve the accuracy and speed, especially in the medical diagnosis, and also gives information very quickly. Nowadays, if you are seeing how the education system has been helped by the artificial intelligence due to this pandemic. And if you are taking some kind of an estimate from the Business Insider, so probably in the next 20 years, some kind of an sectors may be replaced by this artificial intelligence. So we have mainly three kind of an sectors, that is agriculture, industry, and services sector. So the studies and the reviews are telling that the services sectors may be taken and replaced by this kind of an artificial robotoid. And if we see, and it is supported by with some kind of an studies, like if we see like an bookkeepers and accounting in the financial things, it has been gradually, the employers in these kind of an bookkeepers has been gradually decreasing when compared to like kind of a management analysis and financial managers after 1987, when this Microsoft has came. It means that whatever we are doing, that kind of things has been replaced by the Excel. And so automatically it has definitely had a negative impact on employers who has been employed in the bookkeepers and kind of an low skill or low task, we can say. So this is supported for the next kind of thing. As I said, the robotoids may overtake the services sector's employers when compared to the other kind of sector. So overall in the world, as per the 2016 estimate, the China has been in the first in growing this kind of an robot and employing the robotoids, followed by the South Korea and North America. And when compared to in the like this robotoid, that large market is in the North America, and the fastest growing market by region is our APAC. It means something like our Asia Pacific. And coming to our methodology, straight away to our methodology, our stated problem is whether AI is going to create employment or not. For this, our null hypothesis, AI creates no employment. Alternative hypothesis, AI creates employment. It means that we want to justify that it may create unemployment in the shorter time, but not in the long run. So it has totally two effects. One is displacement effect of the labor, and other one is the productivity effect. The displacement effect is mainly like, see, if a robot shares, automatically it has an effect on labor wages, which automatically decrease his share of income. So that is kind of a displacement effect. But in the long run, what this, by providing some kind of an occasional skills or training to this labor, the productivity effect are they can again re-employ, and they can again have some kind of a re-employment status. So we need to focus mainly on task and vocational training we need to give. So some kind of a review of literature has been done by the group members. Some people said it is something like it always gives an positive on the employment, some impact on labor, like based upon the task-based model. It has told that we need to augment the vocational training for the laborers. It means that on par we have to go. And some kind of an regression technique is also we can use, and also some kind of an binary logic also used, whether if the dependent variable is unemployed or employed due to artificial intelligence, and independent variables we can take like an age, education, sector, location, task, and training skills. Why I told this sector means the each and every sector don't have an equal kind of an effect. It means that the services in the services sector, the artificial intelligence may overtake the employers, but in some kind of an other sector, definitely it can't take. So it means this AI will work with the lower level kind of people in the agriculture. So if we come to the review of literature, which supports our hypothesis that AI creates employment, we just want to strengthen the review of literature in terms of the people need vocational training, which is already proved by this Vekrin and Waterberg in the year 2019. And also the World Economic Forum also said that due to this COVID-19, it has boosted the automation, but we also have the fear of people have lost their jobs. But it's looking at the brighter side, it's always focusing on upskilling and reskilling. So definitely in the longer run, it won't create any kind of an unemployment, but still it creates more job opportunities. And it is also supported by various studies like RISTPro in the 2019 and also Mamalalaji in 2019. It means that even as the study in the comparative analysis has been done before and after pandemic, yes, we lost the jobs, but still it promotes the economic growth. Automatically, there are new jobs and employment in the present era. So if you see our India status, as I told in the last PPT, what the India stands in the last. It is mainly dominated by the China, followed by the South Korea and America. But as per the estimate of 2018, India maybe overtake the other countries and place third after USA and China in terms of artificial intelligence. And it also has been reported like by the 2030, it contribute an additional dollars of 19.8 trillion or 14% to the global GDP. And by the 2035, it may contribute dollars of 957 billion. It means that it has positive impact. What I try to say is like, yes, it displaces, but automatically there will be increase in the economic growth. And we have studied when the economic growth and the GDP of a country increases, automatically the standard of living of the people will increases, because as an policy makers and the government, they always think about the helpless people, and always their main goal is to provide employment. So the government won't see if somebody is suffering in the country. So the artificial intelligence also has impacted positively on 70 million farmers in 2020, adding up to their farmer income by $9 billion. So, and in Andhra Pradesh, which is in southern state, and which is, I can say, as I represent, as I'm from Andhra Pradesh, I know how the farmers are very lack to motivate to adopt anything. But still, it has motivated one set by farmers in Andhra Pradesh, and they are really saying that it has been there was a resulted in the 30% higher yield per hectare on average when compared to the last year. So this is kind of a witness case study. And if you see overall in the India, Punjab is using the AI tracking tools to help the farmers between genuine and counterfeit seeds. It means that the way it is helping in the plant breeding. And Telangana also used, which is in our sister state, I can say, as also used the artificial intelligence in real-time digital authenticity of pensioners. And overall, the India, recently that Niti Aayog said that artificial intelligence for social good, it is only for the social good. And its first step is for the development of Paramasiddhi AI, which is the country's largest high-performing supercomputer. So, and it is also, they also want to use this artificial intelligence in the health, agriculture, and education. and financial sector. It is very needed in the health sector because as the COVID came, what happens, the persons to person interaction became less even in the hospital. So I think there is a probability of chances like government is thinking to implement this robotoids in kind of an health sector. So this is the kind of an policies which is discussed in the NITI Aayog, and we need to expect from the government policy. So we know that somebody in the government will be doing a benefit to us always. So some people are there which projected India as the third largest economy. So we always take this note as a positive thing. So if there is unemployment also, definitely the government will work. So but from as an layman words, we request the government should, before framing any kind of an artificial intelligence which overlook the at the risk of the some kind of an employment, before that they should see that framework of rules for the operation of machines, and also before implementing some kind of an artificial intelligence, definitely a minimum kind of an vocational and educational training program should be needed, and it is well appreciated if it is trained from the primary education level only, because everybody will be equipped with that. And now what we have seen, like the farmers who are not with the touch of this WhatsApp mobile has faced due to lots of problems during the COVID-19 time, because during ENAM and all, there are so many kind of an market transaction systems, but they are unable to operate the mobile. So that should not be a problem. Profession is profession, and profession is equal for all. So each kind of an technology should be upgraded and should be well taken by each and every kind of an institution, whether it can be SAU or ICAR or whatever it kind of at higher level administration services also. They have to, it must be a task of at least some kind of a training should be given to each and everyone, so that they may be capable even there is an some lack in the employment issues, and some kind of an I already told that whatever the artificial intelligence is implementing, it is all creation by human only. So without affecting somebody's stomach, we should go with the ethics. So what we need to say it is like artificial intelligence can't replace in any way the human being's capacity. Like artificial intelligence supports what I can say, because we are creator of this artificial intelligence. So it is in our hands how we need to deal with that. So above all, I just want to conclude this. It will create some kind of an economic growth, and also create some kind of a job and employment, and it reduces some kind of a cost, and also make resources more efficient. So it is clearer, like during this pandemic time, it is very clearer to use innovative technologies instead of still lacking in the traditional technologies. So whatever artificial intelligence or digitals or robotics are there, it should be something like we need to control, but they should not control us. So thank you very much.
So I will come back later to this. Let Dr. Ritambra also continue with the presentation.
Dr. Ujjwala, could you please stop sharing the screen? Ma'am, for the tools, the respective group members have taken the charge. So to begin with myself, I will be presenting on one of the tools at first.
Okay. So, yes, now you can share.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and all the organizers for giving the opportunity to learn in an interactive way. So this is a presentation from 3 of us, myself and my 2 other colleagues, Vishita Khanna, Assistant Professor IABMI, and Dr. Nasir Hussain, who is also Assistant Professor at Jammu and Kashmir. So we are going to present the methodologies on trade, and this is in line with the presentation which was given by Raka ma'am. So we are going to discuss some application aspects, even though all these the indices are very much available. There is a newer component to it, which is export potential assessment. And this is what I tried to develop an export potential index and a methodology that I would recommend my other colleagues also to apply in other commodities as well. So we have taken a case of Indian cotton. When we talk about export potential is in two forms. One is we can always talk about the potential products which need to be exported, and other are the potential markets. So what would be the different kind of potential markets across the world wherein our product may find the place and may generate enough returns to us? So there are two kinds of potentials. Herein, as there were some limitations to find the market attractiveness index because it required a specific kind of data which was not available in public domain and had to be provided by ITC only upon request. I just went forward with the export potential index and would like to put it forward. So as we are developing the index, it is coming across the demand and the supply side.
1 minute, Dr. Ritambra. How much time you are going to
Yes,
take?
ma'am.
How much time you are going
Ma'am, 3 to 4 minutes only, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Yes.
Yeah. So there are two components to it, demand and supply. The supply is generated through the export performance, wherein we want to rank how the supplies are going to the market, and demand, how the world market is generating a demand for the product. So when we are going to assess the export performance index, that has two components, revealed comparative advantage, which is an indicator to it. And second thing, we are going to observe the growth of that revealed comparative advantage over the years. And while assessing the demand, we are going to observe the share in the world exports of that particular commodity and how the growth in the share in world exports is happening for that. So export potential index is actually a weighted index of export performance index and world demand index that eventually is the marker for the demand and supply. Now, herein we are presenting a case of cotton wherein we have applied this tool, assessed the revealed comparative advantages. That is what is the share of the commodity in the global market, and also assess the demand side of things by how the growth in that share is happening. And then we have taken the weighted average. Now, how are the weights to be assigned to these things? Weights have to be defined. What is the status of the commodity in your own country? For cotton, we give equal weightage to the demand and supply because it is we are having an emphasis on the cotton production also. And also demand is generated on the other side of the world, basically from the Southeast Asian nations, wherein there are more kind of mills and all wherever cotton grows, especially to China, and also the Pakistan, which is our nearest competitor. So we are going to give equal weightage to both these things. And then the export potential index exercise has revealed for 4 level HS codes for different commodities, we have the maximum potential for cotton, which is not carded or formed. And it is followed by cotton yarn, which is HS 5205. And then it is followed by woven cotton fabrics. So for other things, you see that it is just declining, 66, 65, 63. So what does that mean? We don't have the revealed comparative advantage in that product, and also there is not enough demand. That's the reason our index is not working well in that direction. So as it approaches towards the higher side, that means we have potential for that commodity. And what signal it gives to us that our major earners are HS 5201, 5205, and 5208. So India needs to develop comparative advantage, need to develop higher comparative advantage, because what we have seen over a period of time that RCAs have reached their heights, but they have also declined. Now, we have also tried to do it to 6th level, like 5201, then we upgrade it to 6-digit code. Therein also we have found the cotton not carded or formed has the highest potential, and yarns are the other sector. So you see that ultimately we are reducing down to only 2 codes, 5201 and 5205. And yeah, this is also the yarns of various kinds only. So this is what the case of India is in case of cotton. And then another example is we just took it for this is a very latest one for the nominal protection coefficients, wherein we wanted to assess the competitiveness. And we applied nominal protection coefficient exercises for the milk powder. And this is the status of milk powder from 2001 to 2010 and onwards. And 2019. So what we have seen is a conclusion, if you can see that how the fluctuations are happening in NLPC of milk powder and whole this other commodities. So what we have found that NPC for export of skim milk powder and whole milk powder lies between 0.8 to 1.4. So if it approaches to 1, that means we are like good, but it should be, when we are seeing that Indian milk powder, including SMP and WMP, the data reveals that we lack export competitiveness in these two commodities. Now, what does that mean? That means that India is not enough competitive when we wish to export these things in the world. There are several strong players who have different reasons to be with the commodity in the international market. It could be in the quality terms, it could be on the pricing terms, but we are not competitive. So these are two examples wherein we have tried to assess the export methodology, and my more emphasis was on export potential because that is developed by ITC, and I strongly encourage the application of this technology because we need to assess for many more. Thank you so much. So may I request the next member, please?
Okay, ma'am. My screen is visible?
Actually, not. It just says that you have started sharing the screen, but the screen has to be yet.
It will come. It will come. His net connection is slow.
Now, ma'am, it is visible?
Yes, Dr. Adil.
Yes,
it is visible.
Okay, please start. Share mode.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. It's visible, sir. Please go ahead.
It's visible. You can start.
Any problem?
Dr. Pradeep, can you hear us?
Ma'am, some problem is coming actually without sharing the internet. Can somebody present after?
No,
some problem is coming, ma'am.
Okay, who is the next one? What you can do is you can send your slides to Dilip ji. He can share and you can speak later.
Okay, ma'am.
Because sometimes this problem comes if connection is
okay.
Slower.
You can send in group, WhatsApp group.
Who is next?
I will present next month, but the screen has to be, is not.
Please unshare your screen, Dr. Pradeep.
Yes, already I did, ma'am, my side.
You have unshared it?
Yeah, already I shared. It is actually hang that screen.
Dilip?
Can wait.
उसमें एक ऑप्शन है ना कि anyone can share even if the other presentation is going on, वो activate कर दो. Are you the host, Dilip?
Yes, ma'am.
तो फिर आपके यहाँ से हो जाएगी ना?
Yes, ma'am.
स्क्रीन शेयर ऑप्शन में.
मैम मेरी स्क्रीन शेयर हो रही है ना?
नहीं नहीं, आपकी नहीं शेयर हो रही है. अभी तो की हो रही है. आप ऐसा करिए प्रदीप जी, आप लॉग आउट हो जाइए, फिर लॉग आउट होकर के दोबारा लॉग इन हो जाइए, आपकी स्क्रीन अपने आप हट जाएगी. हमको ही दोबारा शुरू करना होगा क्या? दिलीप कुछ कर रहे हो तुम? दिलीप, अच्छा ये इज इट योर स्क्रीन? हाँ हाँ, नाउ योर स्क्रीन हैज कम. ठीक है. नाउ डॉक्टर रितिका, okay, Dr. Ritika, now you can share.
Good morning, everyone. So now I'm going to present about the economic impact assessment of IPM by using the propensity score matching technique. So the objective of this particular research is to assess the tangible and intangible benefits of the adapting IPM technology. Like we are going to see, so there are certain kind of farmers that IPM is a entomology technique which is called as, yeah.
You can come in full screen, no?
Yeah, it is not.
It is not in full screen mode.
Yeah. Now I think is it?
No.
In my desktop, I can seeing the full screen.
I don't know. I'm not able to see it. Okay.
Anyway, you continue. Either you have to unshare and then share again. Sometimes that also helps.
Yeah.
Yes, it has come now.
Okay, the objective of the particular research is to assess the impact of adoption of a particular agricultural technology, which is called as integrated pest management, which is used to control the pests. So we are going to assess the economic impact between the adapters and non-adapters. And the hypothesis was taken as it was assumed that the adoption of IPM strategies improve the farmhouse household income by generating a higher profit. So the average treatment effect model was taken. So this is the basic this is the basic thing you want to assess, that is to assess the impact, that is assess the income and yield with the available factors. So our objective is this is the people, this is the output of the treated people, and this is the output of the adapters. So we have to want to know the economic difference of the economic impact between the adapters and non-adapters. So since the adapters and non-adapters are not same before this intervention, that maybe the selection bias may be there. So we have to remove the selection bias. So for that, again, this equation was slightly modified. That how what would be the output of the people if they are not adapting, output of the adapted people if they are not adapting particular technology. So likewise, the selection bias will be removed. So at last, our the desired result will be taken up. So to remove the selection bias, again, the propensity score matching technique was incorporated. So we know that it will remove all the selection bias, and so that we can identify the exact impact of technology on our desirable output. That is, the desirable output is yield and income. So it was tested with single binary treatment. So for that, first the variables were selected, then the propensity score was estimated, and finally the balancing property was also tested. So this is the property equation which was tested to identify the propensity score. So these are some of the variables. So based on these factors, we are going to match the adapters and non-adapters. And 3 types of matching methods was followed. That is nearest neighbor matching, kernel-based matching, and radius-based matching. 3 types of matching methods was followed, and the analysis was done with the STATA program by using that particular codes. And this is the results of probability estimation, and we know that the significance of that particular coefficients was tested using the key results. This is the output. So our here we expected that the adoption of that particular IPM technology will enhance the yield, and it will also, because of the enhancement of the yield, that will be a net returns, higher net returns, and also expected that pesticide expenditure will be reduced, since we are going to have a reduction in the pesticide. But actually, as expected, the yield and net returns was increased, but the pesticide expenditure was not increased. And the main thing of this adoption of PSM technique is to reduce the bias. So how much percentage bias was reduced was also tested, and this is the different level of reduction of the bias, reduction in the percentage bias for the 3 matching methods. That's it. That's what we want to show for this presentation. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. That's all. That's it for the today's presentation. Is it audible, ma'am? I have completed my presentation.
Okay. Sorry, I was actually muted, so I could not be audible to you all. Dilip, have you received the presentation of Mishra ji?
Which group you have sent, sir? WhatsApp group. Yeah, mail. Hello.
No, he must have shared with you, no? On WhatsApp group.
That way I'm asking. I didn't receive, ma'am.
You did not receive? Okay, leave that. Then Dr. Ujjwala and Dr. Ritambra, is there any other subgroup left in your group?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
Okay, who is left? Just call.
Yes, ma'am.
The next one.
Yes, ma'am. There is Dr. Balasaheb Pawar, Dr. Kai Devkate, and Dr. Jyotiba Kumbhar. They have designed on transitional metrics. I request if all of you are here, kindly go ahead with the presentation. And after that.
1 minute. Can you come with the names again? Because they might be in the attendee.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Balasaheb Pawar.
1 minute. Dr. Balasaheb Pawar. Dilip ji.
Yes, ma'am. He is attending.
Unko. Or next. Who is next?
Dr. Tai Devkate.
Dr. Tai. Can you spell?
Tai is the first name. And
there is no any Tai in attending. Maybe panelist.
You see, we gave actually the links. And Dr. Mishra also is again in the attendee because he left and I think he joined. You can bring him also here because his group presentation is going on. We sent those interactive links also to everyone because they are unique ones, so they cannot be shared on the WhatsApp group. That is the problem. Such links are unique to everyone. Balasaheb Pawar को कर दिया दिलीप?
Yes, हम कर दे, थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा.
Okay. Then.
And after that we have Dr. Swapnil Gupta.
He is already in panelist mode, I think.
Okay. And after that we have one more, Dr. Harsimran Jeet Kaur and Dr. Amod Sharma.
Dr. Harsimran.
Dr. Harsimran Jeet Kaur and Dr. Amod Sharma.
No,
yes, sir, I am in the panel.
Not there, I think.
No, sir. Ma'am, I'm here. Harsimran Jeet Kaur.
Okay. Yeah. So who is left to bring back to this? One is Dr. Balasaheb Pawar. Is he going to present also?
Yeah, madam, I am ready to present.
Okay, you have already come into this group. Fine.
Ma'am, just the issue is with Dr. Pradeep Mishra, sir. I think I'll just contact him and how we can go ahead with that. I'll sort it out.
Okay. I think Dr. Mishra also has been brought into this, no?
Yes, ma'am, but his internet issue is there, no? So he requested if someone else from his team can present. So we have Dr. D. Ramesh, Dr. Supriya, Dr. Muna, and Dr. Ujjwala. So anyone can pick the presentation. And
Dr. Ujjwala has already presented.
Yes, ma'am. So Dr. D. Ramesh is there.
Dr. D. Ramesh. So anyway, like you can find, Dilip ji, you can bring him also in this mode.
Dr. D. Ramesh.
Dr. D. Ramesh ko. And at the same time, now who was supposed to present?
Ma'am, Dr. Balasaheb sir said that he'll.
Dr. Balasaheb. Yes, his hand is up. So, Dr. Balasaheb, you can continue your presentation. You can share.
Yes, ma'am. Like, how to share that one?
You will find one button, green arrow, up arrow, at the bottom of your screen. Can you see that green arrow at the bottom of your screen?
Green arrow. No, ma'am.
Share screen.
which below which it is written share screen.
Only 3 buttons are there, ma'am. Chat, lower, and question and answer.
Someone from your team can help, or maybe you can also post it on WhatsApp group.
Okay, I will post it.
You have posted, Dilip? You can show and let him speak. He can speak and you can show.
Dr. Balasa, please wait 1 minute.
Now
you can share, sir.
I can share now, ma'am.
Actually, I'm from attending panel, taking some time. I start, sir.
Now you can share?
Yeah.
Yes, it is getting shared. Yes.
Good afternoon to one and all. I am Dr. B.N. Pawar, Balasaheb Pawar from College of Agriculture, Pune, and a member of Group 6, along with my team, Dr. Kai Devkate and Dr. J.S. Kumar. I am presenting here the application of transitional probability matrix. So, the application of this tool, I would like to explain on this tool with the export of fruits and vegetables from India. This is the data of 2016-17. These countries have, these are the importing countries who have imported the Indian fruits and vegetables. And we applied here the direction of trade with the help of this Markov chain. And the direction of trade in export and fruits and vegetables to the different importing countries is estimated by the transitional probability matrix using the Markov chain framework. The Markov chain framework indicates the loyalty of the importing country to a particular country's export. And the diagonal elements of the probability matrix provide the information of probability of retention of the trade from other competitive countries, and the row elements of the transitional probability matrix indicate the probability of loss in trade on account of the competing countries. The column elements of the transitional probability matrix indicate the probability of gain in trade from the competing countries. The applied tool is, this is the basic formula of the transitional probability for Markov chain, and this is applied. The reference is taken from the Scott Miller book, and we have applied this in the data to analyze the export of fruits and vegetables. The 9 major countries of the world considered there. The transitional probabilities of the fruits and vegetables export from India to different destinations are presented in table 1st and 2nd respectively, depicting the broader idea of the change in direction of the trade over a period of 9 years. So this is the analyze the data, and we see that these diagonal elements of these transitional matrix indicates that the retention of the Indian fruits, and it is observed that these Bangladesh, Nepal, Arab Emirates, and Bangladesh, Russia have retained the Indian fruits, and that there is a stable market for the Indian fruits. It is indicated like that, but the zero magnitude indicates that there is an unstable market in these countries to the Indian fruits. That is the Netherlands, then Saudi Arabia, United Kingdom, Germany, and Pakistan. They showed that there is an unstable market for Indian fruits. The row element indicates the losses to the country due to the other competing countries. So it is observed that in the case of Arab Emirates, there is a loss of the loss is there by 19% from Netherlands, 32% from Bangladesh, and 14% Saudi Arabia, and 6% from UK. So this is the loss due to the loss it's shared to the United these countries, that is the Arab Emirates. So the column elements is the gain from the competing countries, such as the from Netherlands 24%, Bangladesh 31%, Saudi Arabia and Germany 100% gain is there from these countries. So
how have you calculated these cell values?
This is a probability, madam.
No, probability, like, I mean, how, which data you used and how did you
data of the import of the fruits export of India from the other countries. These 9 countries were selected, and we have considered this data, and then probability matrix has been drawn there.
Okay.
So
it's made, I mean, in Excel only, or?
No, madam. There's a software is there. My friend has worked out this.
Okay.
And there is Lindo software, ma'am, from which we can extend this. Lindo.
Okay, Lindo.
Ah, yes, ma'am.
So on software, madam, it is worked out, and that friend has sent me this. So this is the scenario of the probability transitional probability matrix for the export of the fruits from India. I have explained this. What is there in table? Next is the transitional probability for the export of vegetables. So this also indicated that the transitional probability matrix for vegetables. This is also for 9 countries, 9 importing countries, vegetables from the India, and for 9 years data is there also. So it is observed that the Nepal, Qatar, and Pakistan. This Nepal, then Qatar, this one, and Pakistan, this one. So these countries have retained the Indian vegetables with this magnitude, and there is a stable market for the Indian vegetables in these countries. But the Malaysia, Sri Lanka, and Saudi Arabia and UK, the magnitude of this diagonal element is 0. That indicated that there is an unstable market for the Indian vegetables. If we take the example of this Bangladesh, so Bangladesh is having a loss. Loss is its share by 20% from competing countries, that is the Arab Emirates, 13% from Nepal, and Malaysia 35%. So these row elements, value of these row elements indicate loss to the this particular trade on account of the competing countries. And the same on the same line, the column elements again indicated the gains in the trade on account of the competing countries. So in this vegetable scenario, we find that the Bangladesh has a gain on account of the trade in Arab Emirates, that is 39%, Pakistan from 37%, and 100% from the Sri Lanka. So this is the probabilities, and we can also explain in each and every countries by this way. So this is the application part of the Markov chain transition probability analysis for finding out the export of the position for the export of these fruits and vegetables. So thank you, madam.
So I think now only one is left in your group.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Pradeep Mishra, sir, and his team on time series, Arima time series.
Okay. So,
Dr. Simranjeet ma'am is also left. I think she also has to present. Dr. Harsimranjeet ma'am.
Okay. So first, Dilip, are you sharing Pradeep Mishra slides first?
Mishra, he has sent, ma'am.
No, you are asking me, like you are the group leader and I have told him to send it on the group. So is it there or not? Last call for him. उसका वो है कि नहीं presentation आपके उसमें नहीं तो सिमरनजीत मैम को बोल देते हैं.
No, ma'am.
सिमरनजीत कौर.
नहीं है.
Yes, ma'am.
You can start.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Just a second, ma'am. I did something wrong, I guess. Can you see my slides, ma'am?
Not slides, but your WhatsApp group.
Screenshot.
No?
We can see your WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Page we can see.
I did something wrong, I guess.
Share and share again. First you open your slide and then, yes, now we can see.
Okay.
And Dr. Pradeep Mishra also send them now.
Okay.
Okay.
See, since you are here, you are two people only.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how many slides you have?
I have only 6 slides, ma'am, not more than that.
Okay. So,
I will,
within 4 minutes you come.
Yeah, sure, ma'am, sure. Actually, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I would like to discuss the forecasting and growth trends of production of quinoa in Punjab. I used Arima method in that. First of all, a little bit introduction. As we all know that India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables. And this is the quinoa, the citrus fruit, which is predominantly grown in Punjab area. And like Punjab is, as you know, that it's very quick adoption of new technologies and always ahead of the time. So this quinoa crop occupied almost 53,000 hectares of area, which constitutes around 60% of the total food production of quinoa in Punjab area. So in Punjab, so I would like to tell you that we want to study the future of this crop, as farmers are saying that we are not much happy with this crop. We are not getting much of the price, but from area production and productivity trend, we would like to see the forecasting. Based on the secondary time series data, for last 20 years, from 2000 to 2001 to 2019-20, the data was taken from Statistical Abstract of Punjab. And to forecast this area production productivity of quinoa crop, Arima model was taken, which is also called as Box-Jenkinson method. So motive behind this Arima to find out the future values accurately and identify the stochastic process of the time series. The forecasting of area production and productivity of quinoa in Punjab was done, and it is predicted for the next 10 more years, that is up till 2029-30. I use SPSS for that to study this Arima method, in which we find out the lowest minimum absolute percentage error, that is MAPE. So in this we can see that in case of area, the minimum, this MAPE's minimum is in the case of 212 model, and in production it is in 0122, and in productivity again 4.093. This is the forecasting for the forecasting is done by ARIMA method, which shows us that definitely there is going to be increase in area production and productivity trend in the future from the next 10 years. Definitely it's going to increase. The reason could be behind that we are going to have some new technologies, the price policies, which is like government is now intervening when farmers are complaining. Now the government is intervening and preparing new markets so that farmer can export their produce, they can send in distant markets and all these kind of things. So our forecast saying that definitely it's gonna increase in the next 10 years. And so this is the predicted and this is the real trend which we find out that definitely it's gonna increase. We find out the standard R-square, RMSE, and it is showing that also that there is a significant increase in that information. This is the for area. The next is for production, and this is for productivity. So to conclude with, I would only like to tell you that this forecasting by ARIMA showed that all these factors will help to increase the area production and productivity in future. Thank you. That's it from my side, ma'am. Excuse me.
Hello, ma'am. I am audible. Hello, Dilip sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah.
But I think Dilip sir and
you are audible. Have you shared your presentation, Dr. Pradeep?
Just I'm trying if I can present. Otherwise, I will request with someone who can share the screen. Once, let me try. It is visible, that is screen.
Screen is visible. You can just see whether it is advancing further or not, moving forward, backward or not.
Okay, so may I start, ma'am?
No, you check whether your slides are moving forward or not.
Otherwise, I will share.
Just check whether you can go to the slide number 4, 2, or 3.
Yeah, right now it is moving from my side.
No, from our side there is no movement.
Okay. Can you present, sir, so I can just give if it is possible? Yeah, let me.
So you see, we already reached to 120. I think in 5 minutes, you need to complete this. Huh?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, ma'am, and Dilip sir, and all the organization of 21 days this winter school. So our topic is the application of ARIMA in agriculture, a time series approach. So in group shifts, they are me, myself, Dr. Pradeep Misra, Dr. D. Ramesh, Dr. Supriya, Monika Devi, and Dr. Ujjwala has contributed for this project. Next, please. So actually that time series forecasting is very kind of you can say very important in the policy implication in agriculture, and that on the basis of prediction we can base the see the past trends and as well as the future for the anything. So in agriculture, there is a lot of scope. Next, please. So in time series application, we can use for the crop management, where we can see the yield prediction. Also, we can see the forecasting of the pest and disease intelligence, that in the if the any crop particular in the field, so we can see how the pest incidence is there and how will be moving further. And that also we can see the different area, make the forecasting for the area also in different season. In livestock also, we can see also for the weather forecasting, like rainfall, temperature, as well as we can see the demand and the price. We can use this forecasting. So we will see just one model here for the linear time series model, ARIMA. Next, please. So this is the importance of the agriculture time series forecasting, because when we are doing the agriculture time series forecasting, so it is very, first we will see that our data is stationary or not. In layman language, if I say that the mean and variance are constant over the time. But normally when we are dealing with time series data, either it will be monthly, yearly, weekly, or hour, that mean and variance are not constant. And also it should be not constant. Otherwise, if it is constant, so there is no use of the making the forecasting if the data is not having the any variability. And same time, every time the forecasting should not be our objective. Sometimes we are seeing that our the univariate weather factors or the rainfall, how they are actually significantly different or not. So accordingly, we are using that variable and this time series data, time series models according to their nature of the data. Also, when we are dealing with the time series data, so very important, first we will see that data is having the outlier or not, and how is the data nature. If something is different, so we have to do something different steps also. Next, please. So when we are dealing with time series data, so definitely this is the some demonstration that how the data looks like, that international oil price indicates, and there's some different soybean monthly data. So data containing sequence of observation in a single phenomena over the time is called time series data. Next, please. So this is the some basic steps of the forecasting. You can say forecasting is also kind of art also. First, when we are dealing with the forecasting, so first we will identify this forecasting, that whatever we are doing the forecasting, so what will be their uses, where we can use that forecasting result. Then then after the making some problem identification, we will see the data nature, and we will identify that from where we can collect the data. And in time series data, because we are in time series data, basically using that secondary information, so it is very important that same time before the data analysis, data handling is more important. So data, when we are doing the data handling, so we have to look overall the data series, that something is not like a ununiform data, like you can say outlier data. So we will just check it, that how is the nature of our data. Then we will go for the trend analysis. Just we can make it single line charts, and we can see make a trend line and see that how the our data series is moving over the time. And before the going for the forecasting, we will divide our data into training and testing. 80% or 85% data we will take for the training, and last 15% data we are taking for the testing or validation purpose. And after doing this, all the methodology and process, we will see the some test also, that ADF test, that our results are significant and not. So if we are properly using all the steps, so maybe we will very close to our future value also. Next, please. So this is the some forecasting methods, models. This is qualitative and quantitative. So this Delphi method, forecasting by analogy, and that simple regression and multiple regression. And this is the some other time series model for simple moving average, exponential smoothing, autoregressive moving average, arch, gauge, and ARNN are the some more advanced model for the forecasting. Next, please. So when we are talking about the linear time series model, so first word is come is ARIMA, autoregressive moving average. So if the function relating the observed time series and underlying shocks in the linear, then that is called the linear time series model. So actually that autoregressive, when we are talking, the word is come from the regression. It work like as a regression, but exactly it is not a regression model. Second part is anti-integrated, and third is moving average. When we are seeing the difference of the actual value and the next previous leg value. Next, please. So this in ARIMA model, it is denoted by that PDQ. This is the more important facts. So on the basis of this, we are selecting that which PD and Q is best for the our model. So basically in ARIMA for R or SPSS, we can using auto code or auto model, so we can directly pick the our best selected model. But if we are starting with for some new research, so from the beginning we can compare the all the models, and on the basis of their standard mean square error, maximum R square value, and residuals results, we can compare the model, and best model we can pick for the forecasting or the model selection purpose. And the differencing is very, because just I mentioned that time series data is not like every time it is stationary, means mean and variance it is not possible that it is constant. So if it is not constant over the time, so making the data stationary, we will use the differencing. When we are seeing that putting differencing 1, 2, so we can make the data non-stationary to stationary. Next, please. So this is the notations about the autoregressive and moving average, which already I mentioned. And this is the white noise, which we see that and our mean and variance are over, distributed constant over the time or not. Next, please. So this is the some charts for the data identification, just where we can see that the data is not stationary, and when data is stationary, so we can see that when we putting d is equal to 1, so data is stationary graphs look like that way. And when we are determining the q, so for determining the q also we are using the moving one. So we are like this way we can just check how which PD and Q our data will be fitted very well. Next, please. So this is the ARIMA model building process, where first we see the original series, then we check for the stationarity. First we will choose the ACF and PCF graph, and if the ACF and PCF graph is coming non-significant, then we will go for the differencing. And again, we will check the data ACF, PCF, and use the ADF and PDF, ADF test. And after that, we will estimate the values of the small value of the AIC, BIC. And after the checking the diagnostic check, we will go for the validation. We will check their ACF and PCF, ACF and PCF graph for the residuals also, and then make for the forecasting. Next, please. So this is the R code we actually prepared, but unfortunately my system is not properly working. But by this, we can just run the data. Just first line is like that, how we can import the data, then how we can plotting the ACF graph and PCF. And this library, because when we are using the R package, so we can install the package one time, but when we are doing the any analysis, so in our environment, we have to upload our packages every time. Like T series one package I have used, and then second package I have used the forecast. And before when I choose the ACF and PCF, so that time our data was not stationary. So I used first differencing, and then I selected ACF and PCF graph. And 50%, 65 years data I took for the training, and last 5-year data I choose for the testing. And this H is equal to 5 is denoting for that how many years we want the forecasting. So before that, we are planning that we can demonstrate for that R and SPSS, but due to that some technical glitch, unfortunately, we are unable to.
Is it over from your side?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, but anyway, you have brought out the things very clearly. And system or technology failure can happen at any time. No, on that you have attempted it, so it is good. This R you were knowing earlier also, or now itself, like you learned? Mm-hmm. So is anyone else left in this group?
No, ma'am. I think everyone is done now.
Okay. So it was a nice presentation from all of you. Only thing is you could not combine it into maximum 2 things like what I expected, that from each group there should be maximum 2. That's why we made 2 things. But anyway, all of you have worked on it. Another thing is that AI one, it was really nice. I would not have expected even such a properly meticulated response, like so that you have done wonderful. And you have also emphasized on many trade related aspects. I think you were influenced more by Dr. Aka's presentation, so it was yeah, a good one. So I think you have touched many things in your ARIMA also. In previous group also, ARIMA is heart of forecasting, especially with social scientists. So that also you have covered. And then this transition probability matrix, he also covered. So really a nice thing. So now only thing I would request Dr. Ritambra is like you can make a list of all these presentations, and maybe like it will be difficult to search, you know, which one are final ones and which one are newer ones. If you can send by email to Dr. Dilip or to me.
Okay, ma'am.
So
okay, ma'am, I will do. I will do for that.
Yeah, like you can put all your group presentations into single one, yes, and then you can send.
Yes, ma'am.
At the top of it, there should be names of all the contributors, and one name only once.
Okay.
The contributor might have contributed in many things, but only once. One name only once. Right?
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Okay.
You can send it to Mr. Dilip and with CC to me.
Okay, ma'am. I will. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And for group 5, he could not present. Okay. Group 3, Dr. Swaminathan already made one presentation, I think one single one. So you can also send by email to Dr. Meena and then with a CC to me, your presentation by email. So because otherwise in the group, that may be your internal discussion and all, so I do not follow that. So whichever is your final one. so that you can send, because it is having all contributors' name too. So thank you very much. So it has been continuous, I think 2 hours sitting, and it was really nice. So now in the next session, next will be your next group presentations will be on 24th. So 24th it will be, right? 11:30 to 1. Okay. So be ready for that, all of you. If still some are left on that, we can have it maybe later in the evening, but we will complete on 24th. We have to. So other group members also may kindly complete their assignments. So what we have decided that now we will not have any, we may not have, otherwise we may have to like theory kind of exam, because that is of no value online having it. So I found this one is a good recap for all the things which you have learned. You are learning not only from your presentation, but also from the others. So I think now we should close, because it's lunchtime, already lunchtime. So you all can have your lunch, and let us meet again at 2:30 for another topic on TFP, total factor productivity. So thank you all.